Hello Monster Jam fans, and welcome back to another Monster Jam OCD video. Today we're going to take a look at the Target exclusive Retro Edition Gravedigger 5-pack by Spin Master. Well, welcome back everyone. Today is yet another very special video before the shelf, and it's an incredible video because it is the very special and very mysterious 5-pack Retro Edition Gravediggers. So basically, I have been ecstatic to see this thing in not only stores, but also in person. I did get to preview these trucks at World Finals 20. It was very brief, and some of them were in their early stages before they were officially produced. And I did hear about this way back when it was just a concept that was floating around the air. When I first sat down with Spin Master for my first ever meeting, when I first was kind of introduced with them, and I was just flipping out at the idea of them coming back with these new trucks. But when they actually came into production, such as this beautiful piece right here, Gravedigger 20, aka Gravedigger Green Ghost, when I first saw them, I was just beyond excited. So today is a very special and exciting video for me, and I'm sure for you watching at home. I personally think it's very hard, even if you're not into the Spin Master models, to say that this is not a cool pack, because there's just so many different intricacies and details that they've added to these trucks to make them as authentic as possible for this specific pack. So it's very difficult to say that there's nothing cool about this pack, period. That's my personal opinion. I am just beyond excited to open this up. So let's take a look at the packaging. Obviously, it's a Retro Edition pack, so it's got all these special Gravediggers. Of course, we have the red original, the blue panel truck, we have the grandma, the I guess this is supposed to be Gravedigger 7 or something like that. I can't remember exactly which truck. I think it's 5 or 6. One of those two around that era. And of course, the Green Ghost 2005. I believe it actually ran in 2006. The Green Ghost Gravedigger. So we'll take a look at these up close. First, I want to get through the packaging. So you can see here, 1982 through 2005. Of course, you can see the official licensed product, Retro Edition Gravedigger only at Target. There's no bubble here to protect the trucks, so you guys can actually see and feel them out of the package. It's a pretty small package, not that big. It's about the size of a deluxe, in height at least, the deluxe Spin Master Monster Dirt sets. And this side here, the right side, has the blue panel truck, of course, some pictures of it, and we'll get to that. But here's the other side with the red panel truck. Of course, the primer, as people call it, and of course the top of the package has the other Gravedigger logos. So we got the red primer, the blue, the stacked logo, and of course the modern day Gravedigger. And then the back is very cool as well. It has the trucks 1982 through 2005. Of course, 1982 with the red primer, the blue panel in 1984. 1986 was Grandma Gravedigger. 1996, I guess they changed it to the modern day spooky paint job. And of course, the 2005 when the Green Ghost was out. Again, I believe this was 2006, but I could be wrong. I think it might be right though. I mean, they put it on the packaging. So 2005, 2006, and then of course we had the normal modern day Gravedigger just kind of popped up here, although it's not in this pack. And other than that, let's open this thing up and take a look at all these trucks up close. I cannot wait. So let me open them up and we'll take a really close look. Okay, so we got them out of the box, and I must admit, these have been out of the box for about 2 months now. This part of the video is being re-recorded for the sake of, current dates and things that I may have missed on my previous video editing. Anyway, this is the official review now of the trucks out of the box. This is literally being filmed about 2 months after I received this pack. This pack has just been announced on September 18th by Kristen Anderson. I was waiting for that so I could post this video. So now I will give a detailed review with hopefully precise information on these trucks. This is the first Gravedigger truck. Of course, the Mud Bogger. Everyone knows the red primer truck Gravedigger. There was one Gravedigger style before this one, which was, I think it was painted black, and it had kind of etched into its paint Gravedigger, but there was never really any good photos of that. There's only one photo that exists. If I find it, I'll put it on screen. If not, I probably lost the photo. But before this red primer, there was that. But technically, the most famous and the most well-known of those was the red. So the red primer is here again in Spin Master form. It has the leafer chassis attached to it. It's basically a very thin chassis that doesn't have much components to it. And you can see also this gray piece here is actually part of the vintage piece of the chassis. And I'll show you in depth of the chassis in a little bit. I will take off the body and show you guys what this looks like underneath the hood. But you can see here, all the trucks have retro tires. So on the truck, you can see the retro tire there. Flotation, I think it's 23, it says on here. Flotation 23 degrees, I'm assuming. And you can see the measurements they actually have on the tire right there, the measurements. That's pretty cool as well. Nice detail. I enjoy the fact that they actually went above and beyond and took out the factor of BKT tires for this pack because, of course, the truck, even this truck actually did not have Goodyear tires, but for the sake of being more accurate than not, the BKTs would not be accurate because BKT was not a sponsorship in Monster Jam. Of course, this wasn't even around when Monster Jam was around, but the fact that they kept Goodyear inspired tires on all of these trucks is a big component towards the accuracy, even if it's not accurate because these had mud tires. But the fact that they kept the retro style with this pack is very cool. So those are the tires. The rims are also new. I believe they're sized down just a tad from the original Spin Master BKT / tire, those rims there. So these are smaller and you can see the leafer a little better. Here's the artwork for the Gravedigger. This is the restored edition of Gravedigger, which means it has the 2 smokestacks now. It is not the one that we see on the packaging, which I showed earlier. Actually, I noticed that after the fact, 2 months later. So you can see the smokestacks here. They are actually a different piece. It's actually its own motor piece that connects to the chassis. This is actually etched out, so you can see the casting is etched around the motor smokestacks here. So very cool exhaust pipes, and of course the window. We have the front here with the classic shape, and also the front bumper piece. They actually did add that on there. And then the other side with the Gravedigger, the door handle, a lot of casting work, detail. That's the big thing that they like to do, especially with car bodies. They like to make sure those are accurate to the body that actually was out in the public during the time actually running as a car. And you can see the back, of course, does have "We Ain't Bad, but the Bad Don't Mess With Us," a beautiful piece that definitely needed to be on these trucks. I'm glad that they added that on. I was actually surprised, and I probably should have been super surprised about it, that they added this on when I saw these at World Finals 20. Those were back in the prototype stage, so I'm glad that they actually kept that detail. Of course, now I would assume that they would put these on because they're really detail-oriented, but it was surprising because we lived in a time when the "We Ain't Bad, but the Bad Don't Mess With Us" was only put on one Hot Wheels Monster Jam truck and never on the other ones. So I'm very happy they got that detail. And of course, Dennis is on the side here in handwritten form. And you can see this is where the rear motor will be for another truck I'll show you in this pack. Of course, Grandma. So this is the rear motor slot. This is one big vintage piece of chassis that they can kind of swap through different things. And a partial piece of the bed here. I kind of wish they would have done the full bed just to cover this up because there is no motor there, so they should have covered that up. Personally, in my opinion, I think they should have done that. But you can see that's the interior of that part. So now I'm going to take the body off and show you guys what the chassis looks like and the motor without the body around. And we'll take a look at all the little intricate details that are actually hidden underneath the body. And of course, everyone knows that the Spin Master Monster Jam trucks only require one single Phillips head screwdriver screw to be removed. And these ones happen to have it directly, again, like most trucks, in the middle of their chassis. And you just simply turn very carefully, not to strip the screw. So you basically just turn the screw and the body will come right off. This is the casting work underneath the body. You can see the area where the motor exhaust pipes will stick through, and it is a actual removed piece. So that's very cool that they actually worked with casting work and putting plastic through that. It's not a really common sight with Monster Jam diecast that we've seen in the past, so I'm very happy they did that with this rendition. And you can see here, this is the leafer chassis / vintage chassis. So the reason I say that is because they made this swappable. So the reason why it will be seen in different years, but they can actually take this gray piece off and swap this into any other form of chassis they need. If they need a different motor placement, they can take this plastic piece off and put a different vintage chassis piece in here. It really creates an unlimited amount of creativity with the chassis itself. It doesn't limit them to one single mold. It actually limits them to unlimited different molds. You can see here, this one of course includes the front bumper, which would not be used for other vintage trucks in the future if they ever make one or another one, or probably, I'm sure they'll use it again because they made this swappable. But you can see here, this front bumper would not be used for typically every other truck. So they would take this vintage piece out, swap it, and put a brand new casted one in here. Of course, for different motor placements and different things, that allows for the leafer chassis itself, the black piece here, to be used for different applications as well. So I'm very happy with that. That's very cool, and attention to detail, and also looking forward to the future, keeping their things kind of flexible in a way to have different ways to do things. And you can see the front motor here is very detailed. Although it's never going to be seen by the public unless they take the body off, the motor is very detailed. So look at all those little parts there. The back of it also detailed. And these are the smokestacks that stick through the top of the hood. And you can see the driver there, of course, and the front bumper. Some diamond plating across the back, and just a very cool leafer chassis. And of course, there's the actual leafer chassis portion, not just the vintage part, but the springs and the shocks and all that stuff. And you got the drive line, of course, down the middle. And that's the body. So the body goes right back on. Let me zoom out, actually, so you can see this part. The body goes right back on the smokestacks. If I can get it with one hand, there we go. And that is the red primer Gravedigger. So now we're on to Gravedigger number 1, which is the blue. And next up is the blue panel, as we call it, Gravedigger 1 blue panel truck. This is a very famous truck, and if you know Gravedigger history, you guys know that it became Grandma Gravedigger, the famous Grandma Gravedigger, which I will get to in just a moment. But first, we're going to go quickly through the blue panel truck. It does have one detail that I want to point out that's really small before we begin. You can see there is Dennis on the side panel, on the driver's door, driver's side door, I should say, with Dennis there. And of course, you see some sponsors are missing because over time, sponsors don't have the contract anymore, or the companies went out of business. So these sponsors here have been removed for the purpose that they can't be used anymore. But they do have the grain company, and they do have the Gravedigger logo with the Chesapeake, Virginia location tag there. And of course, a little bit of the original artwork that, or if you call it artwork, right here, 427 CI. And you can see here the back doors with the taillights, a lot of detail on the back. And the same side here with the front bumper, the front grille, the white headlights, and of course that beautiful blue shine with the gray base. So basically what they did was with this truck, they actually had a gray sparkly metallic bottom layer, and then they actually printed a clear blue layer over that to make this shiny appearance. Not bad at all, very good and clean. And I like that they actually changed the black rims in here instead of using like a gray or something. So I like the black, I like that they kept that style going. And I love this casting. This casting is just beautiful. So that is the Gravedigger number 1 in the blue form. And now we have the Gravedigger number 1 in the Grandma Gravedigger form. So this is Grandma Gravedigger, by far one of the most famous gravediggers of the entire fleet of pretty much one of the most famous monster trucks of all time. Many people from the past, longtime Monster Jam fans or monster truck fans for that matter, will know this Gravedigger as the original Spooky Paint Shop. So this is by far, I think, one of the most accurate models that I've seen from a non-replica company. This is, of course, a toy company. This is not a replica company like Greenlight is, where they actually go in and try to do every single detail. This is something that really shouldn't be in a toy quality form, but the fact that the designers care so much about this and they go above and beyond really what we've expected over the last couple of years with a different company, this is a real display of the immense detail that the designers will go to make things accurate. So here is the side panel of Grandma Gravedigger. It does have these zoomy pipes. I will take off the body. You guys can see the motor. It's the same chassis, but different motor in this place here. And you can see, of course, the artwork, like I said before, with the Grandma Gravedigger. It has the window, which the blue one does as well, the little piece here with the window, and the front with the red famous headlights and the flame pattern, the famous flame pattern that became world known now. And you all know that they use the red headlights still. This is the body that really made those famous, and also the spooky paint job with the ghost. So here's the side panel, the other one, and now is the part that everyone has been notified about. I've told everyone that this is going to happen, and it is the back doors. Now, the back doors have been modified slightly to have different sponsors, of course, Spin Master and Monster Jam, because the sponsors that were originally on the back doors could not be used anymore. But I don't think it really takes away from it. I think it adds the modern feel to it, even though it is supposed to be replicated from the 80s. But you can see here, let's zoom in to the doors. These have been completely hand repainted in Photoshop by the designer, Jordan specifically, who redid these during his time working on Gravediggers. He did this for us, and it's just incredible. I mean, the back doors of Gravedigger have been iconic for years and years, decades actually. And the fact that he went and redid the entire door setup in Photoshop and added to the truck for this only, it is a true, again, display of how far they will go as a team and as individual designers and as people who want to get this right. Just incredible. I'm losing my words just thinking about how incredibly accurate this model is. And this is my favorite Monster Jam truck that Spin Master has produced, hands down, flat out. This is my favorite of 2019. There's no doubt about it. This is just insane. I'm losing my words trying to figure out what I want to say about it. But also, before I move on, I want to mention the gold rims as well. And I almost forgot to show you guys underneath the body for Grandma Gravedigger. So let me take this off and show you guys the motor. That's kind of what I want to show mainly in this portion here. So there's the screw that fell out, but this is the body here, obviously, but there's not much different details here because the red one does have the etching, but this one doesn't have anything really changed. This does actually fit on the normal Spin Master chassis, the non-retro ones, where the red one does not actually fit, but this one does. But this also has a specialized motor similar to the front engine where it had its own shape and mold. You can see here this has its own mold as well with the zoomies coming off of the motor itself. I just really want to show how detailed the motor is. Even though you won't see the motor unless you take the body off, there is still a lot of detail that lives with the motor underneath the body. So there's the zoomies and the motor itself, just an insanely detailed piece that won't ever really be seen by people. I mean, if you look at it this way, you can't see it past the body. I mean, you kind of look from underneath, but you won't really get much detail unless you take this off. So it's really surprising that they really went into super big details here with, or micro details here with the motor itself. And you can see here this little face in the front. I call it a face. It looks like 2 eyes and a mouth. But this little area here is where the front motor will usually snap in for the vintage red Gravedigger. So this here is actually just for Gravedigger. I realize this chassis itself, this gray piece that attaches to the leafer, is Gravedigger only because it obviously only has Gravedigger features, such as this front motor specifically molded for the piece there, and this back motor piece for the zoomies, and this motor. And if you're wondering, the blue Gravedigger one does actually not have a motor in it. I'm not sure what kind of motor it ran back in the day or what kind of exhaust pipes, because I don't believe blue Gravedigger had really prominent exhaust pipes, but there is actually no motor in Gravedigger 1 Blue when they changed over to Grandma, when Dennis changed over to Grandma, he started using zoomies. So anyway, I just want to point that out. If you guys are wondering why I didn't take the body off of the blue, is because it doesn't actually have a motor inside of it. It's actually just blank. So this is the undercarriage of the Grandma Gravedigger, and now we're on to the next Gravedigger. So this is one of the final ones here, one that actually caused a lot of debate, as I expected it to, because there's not really a set truck that this Gravedigger is supposed to be based off of. There is a big kind of gap where this Gravedigger falls in and where its actual design falls in. So this is listed as 1996 on the package, which I believe is supposed to be Gravedigger 7. However, it's supposed to be inspired by Gravedigger 3's artwork, which would be in 1991. Now, also, I must point out, and I will show you guys in this video and on screen, the Gravedigger 3 artwork is very unique. Now, Gravedigger 3's artwork actually had the back doors of Grandma Gravedigger. So this, the moon with the Grim Reaper and the 2 tombstones on the roof, along with this little additional piece of fog on both sides. There was no Gravedigger logo, so you could cut that off. But imagine if we had the Grandma Gravedigger doors with this fog, that would be Gravedigger 3. This is what I'm going to call a custom concept. I'm just going to call this the original spooky paint job on the new body, because this is not the van panel anymore. This is now the modern day Gravedigger body. So it's not really Gravedigger 3 or Gravedigger 7 or anything for that matter. It's a custom concept spooky paint job, original style, before they used the purple ghost. So regardless, I love it, and all this artwork is hand done, so I absolutely love that detail as well. Also, the front flames are wrapped on here for this Gravedigger. In the future, and a note to Jordan if he's watching this video, I hope that we get a chance to revisit the Grandma Gravedigger doors on the roof with the fog, because that would make this truck accurate to Gravedigger 3 in 1991. So anyway, that's a quick little look at the retro spooky paint job with the green ghost. I'll show you guys a real green ghost in a minute, but the white and green ghost from the past with the retro tires, of course, and this chassis. So there it is real quick, the debatable Gravedigger 3 through 7. And yes, it is finally time to wrap it up with one of my favorite trucks of all time, one of my favorite Gravedigger schemes of all time, and definitely one of my favorite trucks of 2019, the Green Ghost Gravedigger Part 2. So Hot Wheels did do a Green Ghost, and they did a pretty decent job at it, but Hot Wheels at the time had a square headlight tooling, and they also didn't do full flame wrapping like Spin Master has now been really well known to do. So anyway, Green Ghost has gotten a lot of upgrades in this edition. We'll start here actually with the front, which includes the full flame wrapping, as I just mentioned. It's definitely a treat to have something as cool as this. This is actually engineered to be done in a special way. It's actually not as easy as it looks. There was a big gap, a learning gap that the designers had to go through to get 3D surfaces wrapped in this way, in the specific format for flames. So you can see it is fully flamed up on the front here with the headlights. Also, they even added the little black circle around the Green Ghost headlights, which were a real thing. By the way, that's a little detail they added in. And the stripe down the front. The only thing I wish they would have done is made the stripe bigger and all the way down to the front tip here on the actual nose piece of the truck. Like the other ones, like for example, when they started doing the flame wrapping, Mix 6's Gravedigger, the Danger Divas, I wish they would have done the triangle tip all the way down to the front nose. This is a little short for me here, but anyway, that's the Green Ghost on that front part, and you can see here the side panel of Green Ghost. It's a little hard to see the tombstones, actually impossible, but you can see they are there, the artwork is there, and the one thing that they've changed about this truck is that they added the Spin Master logo where the Hot Wheels logo used to be. Of course, they can't use that anymore, and I think they used the Clear Channel one in the original artwork. They now have the Monster Jam logo there. And the roof has been sized up. It is not accurate in this form, but they did size it up for detail purposes. I believe that's what they said, to show off the artwork that the designer did. I'm not sure who designed this back in the day. It might have been Neil, but I'm not sure. So you can see here, the artwork is very prominent on the roof of the Gravedigger Green Ghost. So anyway, that is Green Ghost. By far, just beyond every expectation I had. This is one truck that made me really go, wow, I can't believe this is happening. When they first told me as a concept, not even before they started prototype, this was back in last September, a year ago, they said, oh yeah, we're going to do a 5-pack with Gravedigger, Green Ghost, and Grandma Gravedigger and other things. And I was like, no way, there's just no way. And to see it executed and on my desk and actually about to be released to the public, it is another thing. Spin Master, designers, marketers, anyone who had a big role in this pack specifically, congratulations on such a successful pack, really hitting home with all the details for the collectors, longtime fans, and even, I'm sure, the younger audiences who will love to have their Gravedigger collection at home from the past to the present, and now available on October 1st. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Please let me know what you guys think about these trucks in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Ryan of Monster OCD, signing out.